I wish I had the time to sit back and I'm still going to enjoy this, but still sit back and have the time for to make it just make it a little bit more creative, but still don't have that. And but yeah, so like I've been saying, this just gonna be a prequel until I get back to it. Until we revisit to talk about it yet again. But yeah, this one, the prequel strictly is gonna be for wrestling is dead. What happened to wrestling? As you see on the thumbnail. I'm gonna keep it strictly commentary though, since I don't have the time to still make more touches on it as I would. So yeah, just as the title says, wrestling is dead, or is it? As I like to ask that question, because as much the ones who with me, whether you or my audience or whoever, whether they agree with it or not, or if you don't really you've been watching me recently, or and you still agree with the fact that I said that wrestling is obviously not the way it used to be. But don't worry though, I'm gonna be because this time I'm actually gonna be home for Raw. So this week, so yeah, be on the lookout for that. All right, already getting that set up too. So yeah, get ready off of that. As like I said, I've been on the sidelines, but I practice so I still know what's going on. But yeah, let's get into it. Why is wrestling the way it is, and how sour of a taste that it paints out to be. While there's basically no character. You know, Wrestlers barely have any charisma, more of their own move set. When it comes to their wrestling abilities, move set, even names for their move set, and their character for themselves, it's like it's none of that. It's not like the way how it used to be back then. They like I said, like there was like it had individually, like everybody had their own name. What it was for. They had their own move set. They had names for their own move set. That's how diverse and creative that wrestling was at the peak where when it was at. In the 80s, the 90s, or 2000s, whatever you want to say it is. In that end, they all had each wrestler, specifically the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era. Every damn fucking wrestler had their own. Everybody had their own. Even the fucking the logos, the arena, the logos. Yeah, the arena, the logos, the ring, everything had a sense of its own. There was creativity everywhere, but now it's pretty basic. Yeah, everything had everything had its own. It's everywhere you looked at. Even if you want to be a denial or not, I'm like strictly saying you can't. You have to just look back and you go back like it's there. Everything is there, and whoever's been like is a fellow fiend of the wrestling community, and who's they know what I'm talking about and know that you know everything had a mind of its own when you look back at it, and then like now like it's just like it's fucking crazy because everything had not that I like it because it's pretty much the same, no, but in this particular aspect, oh yes, you can say that because it's like everything had a category move set, the wrestlers, their move set, their characters, the arenas, the logos. It's like everything. It's not particularly wrestling too. Like it's like everywhere. Whether you want to look at cinema or music, everything had a category and it had a name. It had creative of its own. Like everything was diverse. Like nothing when you look at it now, it wasn't as Like no one was lazy at all. Everybody strived where they wanted to be the best, and they excelled at that, and that's what happened. But now it's just like, of course, when you get to now, everybody wants a handout. Nobody wants to work for it. I've talked about this, but I talked about before too, where Randy said there's Randy Orton. Y'all saw that video, or whoever saw that video when Randy Orton too. RBD also, I may touch on that too. RBD also says that to like a lot of people is fucking saying it. Undertaker has said it also that when the infamous wrestlers are soft. Whether you want to like whoever denies it or not, you have to look at you can, but you have to look at anybody with that wants to like actually has or actually like you have a brain. You can like everybody has noticed this. Like even the legends, the wrestlers of the past, like they noticed. There's nothing of substance up today, and that's why it's the way that it is. You have red like it's whether it upsets us. Randy Orton just says it's a lack. I mean, there was always that, but it's just more so. This generation feel like they don't have to work for anything to get to that to get to the place that they want to get at. Randy Orton said that there is a lack of respect. Then RVD said, today's generation lack fundamentals. Fundamentals, yeah, like the fundamentals you need to have to be a wrestler. And yeah, it's like think of that. And Undertaker also said, yeah, and then he look at that. He said Undertaker said the wrestlers are soft. What the wrestlers they rather be on social media, complain and complain, and they thought, and then you have these generations of wrestlers. I've seen that also, or whether because you could pretty much compare them to the individuals, the children on TikTok, the young adults on Twitch trying to become a everybody wants to be a celebrity. That's what it's all about. Also, too, it's like now everybody wants to be the next Kanye, Eminem, whether it's Beyonce or but like it's everybody wants to be that, and it's get very chaotic and pathetic, and that's why whether you want to think about it, that nothing of substance has is not as creative, and they don't have it's not. That's why there it's a few rarity that you find whether you think of whether it be cinema or music, wrestling. Like nothing has its own, like because they all sound the same, or they want to rip off the other because for a quick 15 minutes of being in that spotlight, and it's a complete shame that it's not like that. That there's non-existent creativity everywhere. Us especially like of course also like everybody wants to be oppressed. Everybody wants to be fucking oppressed. Yeah, I know what I'm talking. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna, of course, say the like color, but it's like, whichever color. Like everybody wants to be fucking oppressed. Everybody, even Caucasians. Like I had, it was like hilarious too. Like yesterday, I don't know if the dude was trolling or not, but you had, I don't know if y'all watch Amazing Lucas, but you had this dude was talking about. I mean, it's because violence doesn't just happen around blacks or African Americans, what they call that. Because actually, I don't know why, like African Americans, what I would call it, the African American people, this of Americans, they're like y'all, like they okay with being called black. But even Joe Rogan himself has said that that's disrespectful because that's and y'all know because black, the term black. I've like read that many times even when I was growing up as a kid in school. They have the name black, and it goes to there's different synonyms to the word black. You have black, and then if you look up in a dictionary, their dictionary, it says black, and you go to the synonyms, and it also has negro. which in turn that they're saying that black equals Negro, and Negro is the hard R N word. It refers to that. So, but whatever. People, of course, humans don't have a sense of brain or not. Like I don't. That's what the word actually means. Like when you have black, it refers to Negro, and you already know what Negro is. So if y'all never knew that, that's if you look up in their dictionary. Well, yeah, I'm not because that's the American dictionary. Whatever dictionaries or if you just had you seen like or websites or whatever next to black. Or I've even seen it on a crayon. It said black crayon has black, then it has Negro. It's like so I don't like I said I don't know why people was I don't even know why because this era of course always like I said it's still like the violence and the pressure towards African Americans still like all is at its back at its most high. It's always been going on. I'm not gonna act like it's even because it's even worse now. It's always been going on like that. But at the same time, you gotta look at the fact, everybody, like humans as a whole, all suffer, and it's like everybody tries to make it as if they have the most pain than the other. So, and that's why we can never come to a consensus because everybody wants to be put in a box towards out of each other. That's what I'll let it. I'll put it this way. That's why I don't identify as. That's why I don't identify as a human. Yeah, that's why I don't identify myself as human because that's because humans don't want to even identify themselves within each other. Yet they want to rip and benefit from the heritage that culture or heritage or whatever, and it's despicable. But yeah, back to that. Yeah, it's like this dude saying he has. I mean, you should should have because it's violence everywhere. But like I couldn't know if it was a troll or not because you know this. Like I said, I don't know if y'all know Lucas, but Lucas is his channel, the amazing Lucas. He live right now too, but yeah, it's like he always has, of course, trolls calling. So I couldn't tell whether the dude was serious or not. But he said he had feared for his white kids, and he has fears for himself. Basically saying like I guess like he has a white because it's been said before. And I know it's like countless others Caucasians said before. Like he said he has like basically he's saying that he has fear as a white man. I don't know whatever guess he was trying to talk about. I was too busy cracking the fuck up. But uh yeah, it's just like everybody wants. It's that age where everybody wants to be fucking oppressed. Everything like whether regard culture, heritage, color, whatever the fuck everybody identifies nowadays because you can't tell it's like it's fucking ridiculous. Like it's really ridiculous. And it's like you have that, but I'm really worried about because like I said I've had my faults and I've had my roads that were very hard. But it's like the things I think about, and, I can't think about it too much because if I do, that's just like why I live or whether I break down or it's just like while I live because I'll just say yeah children it's even more dangerous and scary because children every day they're exposed and they're getting like they have their most down too so it's just like and again nobody cares or to even think about that but it's not their fault because they've been suppressed down or they've been exposed and that's why everybody they don't really pay attention to because the environment is very actions and whatever you see in media everything what music wrestling sports everything you see is influence and it influences you like of course humans like to say that because they don't think that's why humans don't even like humans don't use their brains at all today. But that's why it's said always has been said that humans don't use their brain. They don't even use. We haven't. They haven't even tapped the capacity of like 100 of even 30%. Like, but I know the basis is they can only use 10% of their brain because that other because most of the time it's you already know who runs the world today, whether it's Hollywood is a part of it, and yeah, the government and whoever's in power right now, the president, government, you like to say, or whoever, and they work together, and it's like, yeah, it's that's who runs the world. It can it could be also in taps with how everything is how children and how because and like because sex that's scary too because sex now it's like sex and violence and everything like that, drugs, everything, that's all pushed even harder. That's even pushed because it's that's even pushed harder on the children nowadays. And that's why you always like you have this like you see it's even if you try to put parental controls or try to even monitor everything, make no mistake about it, it doesn't even matter the fact that like your child once they get to a certain age, they because most of the parents, I guess, they don't really monitor their children, and when they go out that house, they're gonna be exposed to deep shit. I've been there already, and I've already walked that path, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's just like this, the way it's now is just getting really ridiculous, and then you have it's just that so much going on. Like then you have yeah, you have like, of course, you had African Americans and then Africans and Somalians and just every like I don't know if y'all like saw that too, but with they was battling with Tariq and everything like that. They still are. It's just like everybody. It's just getting fuck. It's really getting. It's to a point now where it's just where because we have social media, it's like everybody wants to battle, and it's just like so it's just really fucking ridiculous. I watched a video. Also, I watched a video the other day, and yeah, like he was talking about. Yeah, shout out to Millennial Spark again, because I basically go to him for everything. But he really did have a point. Like the fact that we don't really even use social media to come together. Oh, my bad. The fact that humans don't. I was putting myself in that circle, but yeah, the fact that humans don't come together and use the advantages of how, because technology is at its peak right now. But technology is at its peak, and it's like the fact that we use it for more degradation and disrespect and just violence and verbal abuse. It's just it's really fucking hilarious. Like this, like even though it's not, because the way it's pretty sad, and it just means how much the potentiality of the brain of a human could be. Like the fact that we even have technology, but it's just like the fact it's not used to that capacity because most of the population, especially in America, most of humans are daily, which I'll say definitely in America. The reason why the brain isn't vast is because that especially the children. You have because 90 100% of them are exposed to bullshit 24/7. Nobody. It's like I don't know. It's probably very few. Whether amongst you or whoever watching this video. Like I don't know if y'all read or anybody like that, obviously, but yeah, it's like everybody is exposed to bullshit 24/7. Like everybody watches instead of reading. Yeah. Also, everybody is on their phones now, social media. I bet anybody is really watching is really reading. Pick when like the last time they even picked up a book to actually stretch their imagination. It's just probably just consumed by who's beefing in this, what's going on between the next latest between Kanye and Kim. It's like, or the just more Twitch is in utter chaos and their favoritism. Like everything is just really out of control. It's just at this point, uh, at this point, I don't I'm not surprised if you know within humans themselves. But I don't get surprised regardless whether it's color against each other, or each community against each other. I don't be surprised if automatically a war happens. I don't even want to call it World War III. Shit, I don't. Yeah, I'm not surprised if you know a war break out, because it's just like everybody is involved in a beef 24/7, or on social media and everything like that. And then it's like that's why nobody. That's why like I said, that's why the brain capacity is what it is, or we haven't. And why it's why we're in the state that we are. It's because of every like I said, humans watch bullshit 24/7. Like nobody, like I said, it's probably very few, but I can guarantee that it's like almost like 100% now in the world. Probably just primarily America, but I'll say 100% in America. Barely even picks up a fucking book. Like this is really it's just it doesn't make completely no sense at all. And then yet people want to put labels, and and don't even want to address or acknowledge the fact, the point that they're talking about. But the point that they're trying to make, they also have faults themselves, and they just constantly. That's why humans constantly contradict themselves, and you look at that, it's just really ridiculous. Wrestlers themselves. Also, it's just the sensitivity is just at an all time high. It's like nobody except it's just like fuck the wrestling and the characters, everything like that. Like let me use my platform, or let me take advantage of social media, and just call out and just bullshit over everybody, instead of actually working on my craft. Let me throw bullshit out here, or play whichever card that I can play, so I can automatically get a push. And it's just like that's the society we now live in. Not like I said before, not like the society was always greener pastures. It's just that the world, like I said, it's not, and it wasn't. It's not a problem to want to always be heard and voice opinions, but it's that's taken, like the so-called speak up. Like that's what it basically is. Every category too. Speak up for yourself, or this community has to be heard. That is taken advantage of. People take advantage because of because of how now that it's just people, companies and everything, everybody being scared because they being scared of losing money. So those communities, the audiences or whoever take advantage of that. And this particular, like I said, like people, you have your AEWs and your WWE, and they'd be surprised when the company goes the other way and not in the direction. Like I said, like recently you have Goldberg, he's back, and he's obviously there just for a paycheck. And it's like people are surprised at this. Like there's outrage, and there's outrage at the fact that whatever happened with Keith Lee or whatever, like it's gonna be what it is gonna be, and that nobody's still gonna do about it. Like y'all, like I said, like y'all want to be fake, pretend to be outraged because it's not going in your individually your favor, then actually be outraged. Like stop paying for these companies to keep you on, keep you blindly in the wheel. You want to be outraged and stop supporting the companies that don't support you. It's like humans fail to realize that because they don't, like I said, they don't think, they never thought. Besides being in a box and being in simulation, being in the matrix, nobody thinks. It's a very few, but nobody wants to think anymore. Nobody thinks for themselves. That's why we have that's why humans have a president. A government, someone to think for themselves because humans themselves don't think. That's why people with relationships, friends, it is a shame. Nobody thinks. And that's the downfall of humans because they don't think, they don't use their brain. And I'm sorry to be so much, yeah, so much of, so enduring and that much disrespectful, but it's the truth. And I can care less. But that's the fact. Like I said, that's the society we continue to live in because nobody, like in this aspect, and what I'm talking about, like I said, because it's not just wrestling; it's everywhere. People take advantage. The fact that, like I was referring to earlier, the fact, like millennial. I don't know if y'all watch him too, but watch him because you might I disagree. Of course, I have my disagreements, but like the boy, but the brother is always on point. He actually has my mindset too. Well, it's like, yeah, it's like the fact that we don't use the advantage like technology, and like like the fact that we don't use that, and how everybody want us to become a YouTuber and everything like that. Like we should all as well. Like we should use technology as a way to come to like techno. It's like technology is more even expandable to be at art. It's at our disposal, and we could all come together instead of being in multiple boxes. And that's the problem because that's when you have that, then that's wrestling continues to go down further and further because it affects what is like race. I mean, like, yeah, color, race or whatever. That affects another box, and that box affects another box, and it affects everything it affects. We should be using technology to talk, to try to come to terms with each other and figure out what's the problems that's actually you know infecting and even continuing to affect down further of the product, or or whichever problem in the world that we have. But instead, technology is abused and it's being used for entirely something different, and it's made humans much worse. And that's the problem right there. But whoever also too, he still like to spit bullshit and probably won't even care what I'm talking about. It's okay because I don't give a fuck about y'all either. Not my obviously not. I'm not talking to my audience or whoever's been watching me recently. I'm talking about the ones who just think like utter bitches, and they come across this and still have that mindset of who cares, bro? Like y'all are the fucking problem. Or y'all contribute to the fucking problem. Like I said, it's very simple. It's still I from here and there. I'll continue to say it. If you have an issue with it, and however I talk or how I've been talking recently, and you've been coming across my channel, then don't tune in. It's that very simple. There's ways for you to avoid me, but you don't. Just like many others, people like to say that they don't like you, but you're still there. You're still sitting there. You still talk to me. You still show up at my door. Like you still show up in my face. Like you're still watching me. You still follow every move that I make. You still want to engage to see how I am doing and what am I doing. That's the that's why other species out there laugh at us, because humans are full of stupidity. And like I said, it's humans. It was never humans' fault. Like the way that humans act the way that they act, because every story has a story, and every story has its ending. And humans' ending is coming very soon. And then the way, but it's like add now. It's like now the only way, if we want to continue to enjoy for the time being, what if we want to continue to what if we want to continue what we should enjoy, then how about we come together as as a community, come together to a table to talk about what should be actually what should portray to actually make this work, like what needs we need, like what the wrestler needs to do. In this case, what I'm talking about, like what does a wrestler need to have to make the product better, to make wrestling flourish, to make every eye tune in every night, not bicker and back and play whichever across the card, and get mad at the fact that the company is still not living up to its potential. Like, instead of bitching about it and calling out, because everybody, like especially the fanboys, because whichever company too, your company is doing bad, whether you want to be in denial or not. So instead of the bullshit, how about we all actually come to talk about what we should actually talk about and what should actually flourish the product and make it better, instead of bullshitting each other when we know that the company or whichever community that we want to fanboy for is still doing the exact opposite. So how about we stop chitter chattering and bitching and giggling instead of the fact, and actually act like that all of us are still fucking up, and to prevent that, then how about we work together to see if we can change that. That's all I got for y'all. Like I said, I'll be there. I'll be there tomorrow for tomorrow night. And I just had to talk to y'all for a real second, for a while, a long time. But yeah, I'll be there. I'll be right there for y'all Monday. I'll be right there with y'all. Like, stop the bullshit. We gotta actually come together and talk instead of being in our own boxes and trying to take advantage of the fact that instead of because you're not the only one that's being outed and downed because of your color, what you look like. Everybody else is also too. So stop acting like you're the only one. Stop acting like you're the only one that if you don't like one aspect of wrestling, then every aspect is being played down further. Is because it's the fact that the way it is because of whoever's in charge made it the way it is. So instead of doing that, then how about we all come together and tell these companies, just tell them what they're actually doing wrong instead of what they should be doing. I'll see y'all later. Stay blessed, y'all.